Hi everybody, I'm going to use my favorite kitchen appliance for today's recipe, which is meat pie. The meat pie is going to have a standing crust, which I'm going to use my kneading machine for. There'll be a link to this machine in the video notes. So what we have is it's a rectangular base. It's very heavy, and there are two knobs on the front, one for time and power and the other one for speed. Then there is a large, about let's say a 4-quart bowl on top, and the bowl on this machine turns, and the bowl can come off as well. And then there is an arm that goes across the center, kind of back and forth over the top of the bowl, and this arm goes back and forth to knead the dough. And then there is also a dough hook. I'm going to just demonstrate to the sighted people here. The dough hook just comes off like this. It's just an S-shaped hook that goes into a hole at the back of the machine that kind of holds it in place. There we go. See, there are two holes back there. We're going to put the dough hook in the hole that's further back. And then we have a scraper, which is a really long, skinny spatula with kind of a half circle end on it. That goes in the closer hole. And that just rubs up against the side of the bowl and scrapes. And we're gonna just take this arm back and put it into the dough hook to hold it in place. And we're gonna measure our flour into this machine right now. And we need 2.5 cups of flour, and I'm just using a 1/2 cup measure today. So I've just smoothed out the top of that. We've got 1 cup of flour, or 1/2. Actually, sorry, I forgot I'm doubling this recipe. So we need actually 5 cups. So that's 1 cup. That's 1.5. 2. That's 2.5, and I'm just going to turn off now and come back with 5 cups in the bowl, so you don't need to watch this whole process. All right, so we have 4.5 cups in there, and now we've got the last one here, 5 cups of flour in our bowl. All right, now we're going to step away from this, and we're going to go and make some paste. All right, so I have a pot in front of me here with a cup and 2 tablespoons of water, and I'm going to turn this on right now, and I'm going to turn it on low. And the next step can be modified a little bit. It's the fat content of our crust. It requires 6 tablespoons of some sort of fat. I am going to put in a stick of butter, which is 8 tablespoons. Sorry, it's 12 tablespoons of fat that it requires. I keep forgetting I've doubled the recipe here. So we have 8 tablespoons of butter, and we're gonna put 4 tablespoons of lard in. You can just do all lard, all butter, but I'm going to do a combination of both because I have both. And I just took a tablespoon and scooped into my lard. And now I'm just going to push it out of the spoon. There's 1. So I need 4 tablespoons of lard here. And all we're doing here is melting it in the water. 2. 3 and 4. So I'm using a large tub of lard. If you get the sticks packages, those work as well. There we go. That's 4 tablespoons of lard. They're actually easier to melt because you can find out exactly how much is in your stick, and you don't have to measure it. I'm just going to grab a whisk here. Here we go. And the whisk, all I'm really using it for is to determine when my lard and butter is melted. You could go all the way till the water boils, but I am not going to do that because I like my hands too much, and my hands are going to go into the mixer a lot. So I'm basically just feeling for all the lard and butter and seeing when they're melted fully. Oh, not quite, there's still a lump in there. It's starting to smell the butter. Okay, we have no more lumps in there. Just gonna, it's actually boiling anyways. So I'm just gonna take this pot now and carry it over to my mixer. And it's very, very hot, so you should be very careful. This is hot boiling fat after all. I'm gonna move the arm aside as much as possible, and I'm just going to pour quickly into the center of my pot. There we go. Tap the pot a little bit to make sure everything's in. And I'm just gonna turn the machine on. So what you'll see here, now I'm going to put the arm back in, is the flour and the lard and butter is starting to mix very quickly. And that's just mixing up really nicely. It's kind of crumbly, but this is a pastry, so it needs to be a little crumbly. And I'm just using my fingers here to make sure it's all evenly mixed. And this is now all very evenly mixed. I'm just going to let it spin for a bit. I'm going to turn the speed up a bit here. Now this is supposed to be a little bit more of a paste, so I'm just going to get a little bit more water to add to this. Not too much. Probably about 1/8 of a cup here is what I'm going to add. Because I want this to stick together. There we go. You'll see it's starting to come together a little better now. Less dryness. There we go. It's starting to form a nice ball now, which is good. So we had probably not enough water there. And this is very warm still. Oh, look at that. It is now forming a nice kind of Play-Doh-like dough. Now, I would not use this crust for fruit pies or anything like that. This is more of a dense, savory crust. Now, the recipe also called for 2 teaspoons of salt, but since I used salted butter, I left those out. All right, so this dough is now one really nice together dough. So I'm going to just turn off the machine here, pull out all the pieces, and scrape them off as I pull them off. Pull out my dough hook here, and I'm just literally going down the S with my hand. And there we go. I'm going to take the bowl off the base here. Move it over to my counter. It's also a little lower now. And I'm going to just take my hands and form this into a ball inside the bowl. That's really nice. And I'm also, while I'm doing this, just holding it up over the bowl in my hands for the blind viewers. It's very soft. It's very, very nice. I'm also making sure that the flour is evenly mixed in. And it is. So I'm going to, now that I kind of pulled it all together in one ball, get some saran wrap here. And we're going to just take this ball, put it in the saran wrap, loosely wrapped. It doesn't need to be very tightly wrapped, just loosely wrapped. And I'm going to stick this in the fridge for about, well, you should stick it in the fridge overnight if you can. But I am going to stick it in the fridge just until it's cold to the touch. While I go off and prepare our filling for you.